You are now streaming live. That's interesting. Oh, I'm not even signed in, so how am I live? Lord. That could be beneficial. Nope. Oh yeah, that is where I want to be. Okay. Rubbing. Okay. No. I'm coming, y'all. Y'all probably can see me and hear me, but I'm not even on the appropriate page. So I'm on my way. I'm on my way. I'm on my way. I have arrived. I have arrived. I made it. I made it. All right. Let's see if I can shrink that down. I'm just going to wait a couple of more minutes for possibly others to come in before I begin this live stream about being a lone ranger. Guess I can throw this away. Welcome to Can Angels Fly Tarot. I'm Nancy, if you don't know me. And tonight's live stream is about being a lone ranger. I'll make it understand as we move through this live stream. What up, I know? How are you doing this evening? Welcome, welcome once again. And thank you for dropping by. I just wanted to wait a few minutes to see if a few other people come in. I would really like to have a discussion this evening. But until then, I want to share something with you. I really tickle myself. I cracks myself up. I realize that every time I do this live stream, I got this dress on. Every time somebody drops by my house, I got this dress on. When I get up to go to the, neighborhood grocery store or gas station or whatever, I got this dress on. And so I stood in the mirror today, just a while ago, and I realized I done got old. I said, I have gotten old. Hey, Rena, how are you? Rena, I'm going to get it right. Marie, welcome. And so this is a when you get old thing. When you get old. When I was younger, I got to say this. When I was younger, the older women all had these, they called them house dresses or muumuus. Some of y'all might be too young to know about that, but they were called house dresses or muumuus. And this was for usually the older women. And so, like I said, I wear this dress every time I do a live stream. And I was like, every time I go to the store and the gas station, et cetera, et cetera. And I realized, I said, dang. I realized when I go out to handle my business, like professional business and stuff. I get all dressed up. But when I'm on my way back, I'm hurrying home and I'm throwing off my clothes and I got my go-to dresses. My own personal moo. I was like, I know I'm getting old. How you doing, Fatima? How are you this evening? Well, I guess we can get started. So since there's a few people here in the room, welcome once again to Can Angels Fly Tarot Live. And tonight we're here to talk about alone, being alone. Now, hopefully I will be able to flow this evening without, stuttering and rambling and stuff like that. And so, as you may have noticed, the title of this live stream is called The Lone Ranger. Lone Ranger, like in a movie. The subject matter is being alone. Feel free to comment whenever. There are various states of being alone. My ex Alfredo returning with me in July or August, sweetie. All right, very good. Oh, that's nice. All right. Well, pace yourself and enjoy yourself. That's okay. And there are various states of being alone. A person can be alone as in involuntarily, such as being ostracized. What does it mean to be ostracized? One being intentionally or forcefully excluded from another or others. Then there is being alone as a voluntary state, as in a loner. I know you heard that term. I'm a loner. A loner is a person who is predisposed to living their life relatively independent from others. And then there are still other types of states of being alone. And that is the singular state. What do I mean by singular? Or a lone. As in only, unaccompanied. The me, myself, and I state. And then there's one more state of being alone I like to cover in this live stream, and it is the feeling of being lonely. Lonely is defined by www.dictionary.com as destitute of sympathetic or friendly companionship, intercourse, support, etc. I wasn't expecting to see that intercourse stuff, but okay. Anyway, what is the difference between these various states of being alone? It is the intention, and the accompanying emotional state. So let's take a look at the aforementioned states of being alone through the filter of intent and the accompanying emotional state. Number one, let's talk about the involuntary state of aloneness as the result of being like ostracized. What's the intent? Well, the intent comes from outside of an individual as the form of maybe rejection. Therefore, the accompanying emotional state can be anger, sadness, self-doubt, and or depression that may bring on an emotional response, such as the need to impose oneself back into that group that has ostracized you or another. Or it could possibly result in violence or move one to commit suicide. I ask you to stop if this sounds familiar to you, because there is a life lesson attached to such a scenario. What scenario am I talking about? Being ostracized by another or others for whatever, I'm jumping the gun, being ostracized by another or others. This life lesson requires the evaluation of the circumstances, situation, and people that surround the issue. So, since it's an evaluation process, hey Jessica, it suggests that you might want to ask yourself some questions if you're facing a similar scenario. And the questions, sample questions are, who are these people that have deemed it appropriate to blackball you from them? Is it possible that you have nothing significant in common with them? And their decision is actually a gift in disguise. This gift in disguise forces you to release your association with people that are not beneficial to you, whether it has to do with your growth, your health, your happiness, or your overall well-being. It may be a gift in disguise. Is it possible? But there's another possible life lesson attached to such loneliness. That is to say, being ostracized by another or others. And that life lesson also requires the evaluation process. And that is the ability to honestly evaluate yourself. Possible example questions one might want to ask themselves if they're facing a scenario such as that is, am I dishonest? Am I trustworthy? Untrustworthy? Am I a cruel person? These attributes are just some examples of the question a person can ask themselves in order to discover if they are guilty of bringing on such actions of being ostracized by another or others. Now, what does my future hold? Hey, legend, how are you? Right now, I'm having a discussion, and it's about being alone, and I'm talking about various states of being alone. I have talked about or brung up or spotlighted involuntarily being alone, such as being ostracized or rejected by another or others. Then I talked about voluntarily being alone, such as being a loner. And then next, it was about the singularity associated with being alone as the me, myself, and I state. And finally, I've been talking about alone as far as a feeling, loneliness. So we've already covered the life lessons, potential life lessons associated with being ostracized from others. Hi, Lynette. Now I'm about to go into talking about the intent and accompanying emotional state relative to the state of voluntary aloneness, as in being a loner, that kind of thing. The intent is natural or normal or a conscious decision. Therefore, the emotional state may be more at ease. One may feel more comfortable and secure. Did you know that some people are voluntary loners? They enjoy spending time with themselves. There's a perfect day. Isn't that nice? They take advantage of the liberty to engage, entertain, and talk to strangers. And they may even cherish the mental and emotional stability offered by the solitude of being what? A loner. Solitude can offer time and space to think, to gain clarity, as in answers and of the mind. So being a loner can be awesome. Now, let's move on to the third spotlighted state of being alone. And it is as in the singular, as in only, unaccompanied, the me, myself, and I state. So, let's talk about the intent of being alone under this scenario. Is natural and normal. At some point in time, if I can get these papers out of here, I might be able to read. I gotta read to keep track, y'all. Hi, Pam, how are you? Hello, Nancy, I'm late. Hun, what's the tea? The tea is about alone, being alone, and the various types of being alone, and the intent, the accompanying emotional state, and the life lessons that are attached to it. So far, we've talked about the involuntary aloneness, where one might be ostracized by another or others, as in rejection. We've also talked about voluntarily being alone, as in a loner, and the privileges associated with it. And now we're talking about aloneness as the singular or singularity, which is only, being unaccompanied, accompanied, or the me, myself, and I state. So let's talk. What was I saying? As far as aloneness relative to singularity, the me, myself, and I state, well, it's natural, it's normal. That experience is inevitable. I know y'all have heard it. You're born by yourself, you're gonna die by yourself. Being alone is inevitable. The emotional state of an individual varies. A person's emotional response to being alone has to do with how they personally feel about being alone at any given time. There is a life lesson here, and this is a checkpoint. Life lesson to being alone, the natural state of being alone, because it's inevitable, is a checkpoint. So let's ask some questions relative to being alone, singular, me, myself, and I state. Pam says, okay, now, that is exactly why I'm here, currently in hermit mode. Oh, wow, very good. So this is really lining up and going to make a lot of sense to you. This alone time has helped me out so much. It is. Alone time is priceless. It really is, if you know how to use it. So let's ask these questions relative to being alone as singularity, the me, myself, and I state. Being alone at some point in time in one's life is inevitable. It is a checkpoint. So, possible questions one can ask. How do I feel being alone? Whether I'm at home or out in the public, or versus being home alone, then how you feel being out in the public. Next question. Do you enjoy being alone, or is it difficult to be with yourself? If it is difficult, why? Why? The lesson is to learn about yourself. So what am I saying? The inevitable experience of being alone with yourself, at some point in time in your life has a purpose. And that purpose is to give you the opportunity to do what you say. It has helped. What is this? This alone time has helped me out so much. It exists to help you out. You just happy I am the first one? almost close. So let's move on. And now we're going to talk about the final state that I've highlighted in this live stream, which is feeling lonely. Feeling lonely. Have you ever had that moment in time when you felt lonely? Is it normal to feel lonely? Actually, yes, it is. Feeling lonely occasionally is normal. Feeling lonely is a part of the human condition. As humans, we have the instinctual need to experience the essence of belonging, being connected, loved, and even cherished. The Cups cards in tarot. That was just a little sad interjection. However, at times we may not feel that this desire is being satisfied and may lead a person to feel lonely. But we've identified that feeling lonely is a part of the human condition. It is natural and it is okay for occasionally. It's okay occasionally. The intent is essential. Essential to what? To life. And a person's emotions can be melancholy and longing. When they feel lonely. When you feel lonely, you may feel, it may not be quite sad. You may not be quite depressed, but it is a melancholy and longing state. The life lesson here is to, one, know that it is okay to feel the way you feel. Number two, the other lesson is to be aware that those feelings should only be permitted to linger for an appointed time. Next is to recognize when enough is enough, because prolonged sadness can lead to deep depression or worse. And Pam says, yes, I have to disconnect to reconnect. I feel lonely most of the time when I am alone, but I can feel the same way around people. Isn't that interesting? And that says volumes. See, in that experience that Pam has shared with us, there is a life lesson. Have you realized what the life lesson is, Pam? Hi, I'm going to get it. Carlotta. I'm going to get it. I'm going to call y'all everybody. Everything. You know who I'm talking to. You say you agree, just happy. Yes. We are talking about being alone and the various states in which we can experience it in this physical realm. And we must be aware that there are different types of being alone. The Lone Ranger. See my play on words. Like so we know how to deal with each presentation of being alone in an appropriate manner. You say you're alone too, Gloria? Yeah. And aloneness seems to be a big issue at this point in time. More than ever, well, I can't say that because I don't know all, but it does seem to be a major issue at this point in time in the history of humanity. Some of it is due to family dynamics changing, romantic rules surrounding romance and relationships. And then we have this disconnection that may be due to our technology, such as texting and Instagramming and what you call it, selfing yourself, that kind of thing. Many of us are preoccupied with ourselves and therefore have forgotten the value of being connected to another. And as a result, many people are beginning to suffer loneliness. Let's see what y'all talking about. Like Charlotte's Web. I got it. Charlotte. I got it this live stream. You know I'm reading deficient. Charlotte's Web. Oh, that's too cute. You say, not really. Pam says, not really. Okay, well, there is a life lesson attached to it, especially when you say you can be amongst people and still be feeling lonely. Me too. And I think after this live stream, I'm going to go into meditation to figure it out. I think that when you're lonely amongst a lot of people, you may not feel like you intimately, I feel like I'm not intimately connected with them in a significant manner. It's so shallow too. It doesn't satisfy me on an emotional level. That's what I think happened. And Raina says a lot of people weren't raised with secure attachment styles. Exactly. And that seems to be a growing trend. It Just Happy says mine is due to spiritual growth. There is another one that we have this separation in like consciousness or spirituality or spiritualness that has some people are what they call sleep, uninterested, rooted in the earth and only care about worldly things. And it's hard to make that emotional connection. See, when we start talking about being alone, it's about the emotional connection and ability to successfully make, hey, Halo, how you doing this evening? Make that emotional connection and to sustain it and to cultivate it. So when you have this spiritual, what do you call it, imbalance between people, it's really hard because you don't know how to feel each other, you know? Did y'all ever see that movie called Avatar? And the little blue lady says, I see you. I see you. And what she was talking about is, I feel you. I understand you on the deepest level, you know, and I love that. That's beautiful. And Charlotte Webb says, I've been alone for years, estranged from my family. I have a dog, and I have grown more than I ever could. This has been a hard blessing. Like I was saying early on, sometimes when you are estranged, ostracized, or alienated from particular people or groups of people, it is a gift in disguise. It depends on what the circumstances and situations are surrounding your interaction with them. You know, like I said, it's been a hard blessing, the gift in disguise. And Raina says people want attention. They lack it growing up. Yes, they do. And that's a whole nother thing. There's some what else? Attention whoremongers. Show enough. That's a whole nother video. Folks that'll overstep you for attention and like kind of cast you aside, even though it may be momentarily in order to be able to shine. That's a whole nother video. Just Happy says, I'm an Aquarius, so I'm naturally unattached. So lonely is sometimes normal. Shaking my head. Me too. That's why I made this video. I was sharing early on when I began this live stream that I came to realize something about myself. I said, oh, I got older. And how did I realize I got older? Because I realized I got this go-to dress. The old schoolers used to call it the house dress or the moo-moo. And I said, every time I go somewhere, I come running home and I got a couple of dresses that I snatch and I keep putting on. And I looked in the mirror, I said, I done got old. And so I bring that up because when you start talking about, I lost my line of thought, y'all. Like, just pray for me. It was something really related to what Just Happy said about being Aquarius, and I'm so naturally unattached and so lonely. Oh, and so maybe I was going to say another thing that I realized about myself is that, like, yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was just interjecting that because I thought it was funny because I'll be cracking myself up. So what I was going to say that had nothing to do with it is that I was walking to the gas station and I got so melancholy, sad. I was sad. And I could feel the tears, coming along the base of my eyes. And I was like, Nancy, why are you so sad? Why are you you want to cry? Why are you about to cry? Because I felt alone. I felt very lonely. The spiritual path, as one of you mentioned. The disconnection from family, another one of you mentioned. The social issues that I've mentioned here and talked about. I say, I don't fit. I don't fit. And I'm an Aquarius. That's what I was going to say, just happy. And I'm an Aquarius as well. And so it seems that it's kind of in the stars for us to have difficulty attaching to others. And I think it has to do with we are supposed to be such unique creatures with various ways of thinking. It's hard for people to get us. And ultimately, it ends up leading to, again, being estranged or alienated or isolated in some way. And again, it comes down to being alone. And so as I was going through that state of melancholy, I also realized, I said, well, fool, Nancy, you a natural born loner. I've always been alone, even amongst the group or the crew. You know, in the public, I've always been a loner, very social as an Aquarius. I can get along and talk to anybody and have a funky good time. But on an emotional level, I am unattached, as Just Happy says. And I don't mean to be. It's just that I don't catch the bond, emotional bond with others. I can't catch it to even try to maintain it and sustain it. And what am I saying? In short, I just realized that I'm a natural loner, and how I enjoy my time together. I'm the hottest date ever. When I go out with me, honey, me, myself, I have a funky good time. All three of us be drunk. You know what I'm saying? And we make our way back in. Anywho, let me finish. What I was talking about is the life lesson that is associated with the feeling of being lonely, emotionally lonely. We've identified that it is normal. It's part of the human condition. It is inevitable that one will eventually be alone at some point in time in their life. And it's okay to feel, and that state of being lonely can lead to feeling emotionally melancholy or having this sense of longing. But it's okay. It's okay. Again, it is natural. And one can permit themselves to go through that emotional space of melancholy or longing for a appointed time, and an appointed time only. Because you have to realize that extended or prolonged exposure to being sad can get out of control, and it can become like chronic depression or deep depression state that can worsen and can snowball into something else. So there must be a boundary set. And the next thing relative to having the feeling of loneliness, it's inevitable, is after you've given yourself time to go through that life experience, and you realize it's just been a little too long. The next thing is to get up, to get out and get busy. Step out into the world and explore. Even if you have to do it, alone. I'm telling you, you the best date you'll ever have. So, are there any concerns that anyone would like to discuss this evening? And of course, you know that the platform is open and you can feel free to ask any burning question that you may have, and I will answer it with a single tarot card. Oh, I did a live stream under 35 minutes. Ooh, that's a comeback because the other day I had a problem doing Scorpios. Okay, Just Happy says, oh, wait a minute. Okay, Raina says, that's true. Emotional bonds are hard to come by for Aquarius. Yeah, that seems to be the case. And I've even found that what can I say? I'll humble myself tremendously in order to not be offensive to another. I make myself readily emotionally available and supportive. Yet, I still have not been successful in creating a very strong bond with another. And it's interesting. So I'm human too. I am working on it, trying to find out answers to certain situations or issues in my life. And anything that I find, I'll let you, ladies and gentlemen, know. Just in case it fits. It can work for you too. And it says, I want to know, has anyone noticed when a Libra comes in your life? I want to know, has anyone noticed when a Libra comes in your life, karmic lessons are coming? Honey, you know what? I asked that question before. I have asked that question quite a few times because, let me finish reading. I noticed this since last year, solar eclipse in August, the Leo solar eclipse. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Again, I have asked myself that because I realized that the Libra's it's something that happens, like it really ushers in some, like you say, it seems like karmic experiences, because I asked myself about my relationships with Libra, why is this taking place? And it's totally out of my control. I don't be trying to do anything to initiate it or bring something on. It's like you said, karmic. I don't know if it's past life or whatever. I'm currently going through, I have a lot of Libras in my life. That's the majority of the people around me are Libras. And I'm going to give you an example. My daughter, I have twins. One of them, I noticed, this was a couple of years ago, whatever I would say to her, and she was only about 16 or 17, I said, whatever I say to you, it seems like you are on the offense all the time. I say left, you say right. I say go, you say stop. I say up, you say down. It's always the opposite. And I said, have you realized that? I said, why? Why? I don't care what it was about. It could be something that's going to be in her favor, and she still will object to it without any hesitation. And I was like, what is that? And so I started to think about and evaluate that. I'm coming, Pam, and I realized, I said, well, maybe the karmic lesson for me is to come to understand when another has an opposing viewpoint, idea, or plan for their life, for me to step back, step back. Because I was like, why don't you want why you don't want no ice cream? That don't make no sense. It's 100 degrees outside. You youngster, we at the park or whatever, and you don't want no ice cream. Everybody else getting ice cream, you don't want it. No, I don't want it. So me as a mother, I'm constantly pushing. I go ahead and buy the ice cream, and what happens? It melts. She doesn't eat it. She doesn't want it and gets an attitude. So the lesson that I learned relative to that particular Leo is whatever a person says, whoever they show you who they are, believe them. Who is that Maya Angelou say? If a person shows you who they are, believe them. If a duck quack, look like a duck, walk like a duck, quack like a duck, believe them. And that might be what the Libra teaches another. I know I've been blah, 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 blah. Okay, where was I at? I wanted to cry a few times a day because it was like I was very sad, but it was like my angels would not let me shed a tear. I don't know if it's the energies, but I had to ask God to wrap around me. Good move. Good request. And it says, I want to know, okay, I already read that. Giuseppe says, it's Leo's with me. Never met a Libra before. Really? Isn't that interesting? Y'all don't type nothing else. I gotta ask a question. Or make a statement. Isn't it interesting how, as an individual, you may be able to testify that, as far as you know, are aware of, you never encountered particular zodiac signs. Like me, I had never, that I knew of, encountered any Aquariuses, and I'm an Aquarius. Primarily, what I encountered were Libras and Capricorns. That's it. Libras and Capricorns, and that leaves what? About 10 other zodiac signs that I did not interact with, which says to me there are particular life lessons associated with each zodiac sign, which goes back to your question about Libras. See? So, what was it? And you, like you said, Leo. So I'm going to have to really look into that. Y'all know I got to write a bunch of notes in my hand pad. So, because my memory is terrible. And Pam says, oh, Nancy, I got to go. My client just woke. She's 101 years young. I just melt around her. I know you do. Thank you, Dorian. How you doing? How you doing? I did it again, y'all. I done threw the card out. Oh, it's the Knight of Cups. Love coming. Look, I did the Wendy Williams. I got to do it. How you doing? Now, Just Happy says, thanks for coming, Pam, tonight. Yeah, and 101. Oh, you know we can learn a lot from 101. And just happy. Y'all so silly. And Pam says, peace. Is happy. Irina says, what sign is your daughter? She's a Libra. Okay. If she or you have a moon sign, and that's one of your sun signs, also check your 7th house, because that means y'all mirroring each other's insecurities. Isn't that something? Because you hit right on it. Because my sun sign is in the 7th house of Libra. I ain't never thought about that. I never, ever thought about that. So I'm going to look deeper into that, because that makes sense. So what kind of insecurity then will I have? Oh, remember earlier when I was talking about how I have a hard time formulating emotional bonds with others and sustaining them, how I humble myself and try not to offend them, those kind of things. Maybe, just maybe, from what you're saying, Raina, I'm gonna get it right, that my daughter, like you said, is mirroring to me, like she don't give a damn. Excuse me. I don't care. She don't care if she offend me or anybody else. She gonna go in the opposite direction. She's not politically correct, and she don't care, and she don't break a sweat about it. So she's teaching me. Yeah, I love how all this works. So she's teaching me. Thank you for the breakthrough. Thank you. Just cause I love you. Thank you. I love you too, Dorian. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate you. I really do. I did a lot of research. See, I need folks like you around me. See, we need to all research and contribute so we can get somewhere. So you just got me somewhere, and you helped me understand. Now my question is, do I be an asshole? Do I? And not give a care? But I guess I can frame it in a more responsible way. And when I'm like an example, like when I'm around certain people and I'm interested in formulating a bond, like I said, I tend to humble myself and try not to offend them, and, give a lot of leeway. But if that other ever shows any intent of being like malicious or not caring or not having the intention of having an exchange with me or being connected with me, then I guess I should be more, number one, accepting of who they're presenting themselves to be and what their desires are. See, I got to learn to respect that. I also have felt at that. See, I'm learning. Y'all helping me learn how to accept a person for who they are. Are y'all capable of doing that? When I say accepting a person for who they are, I'm talking about like you might like somebody, whether it's male, female, love, or whatever, and you go to interact with them, but their actions are they waver. It's not that they're openly rude or anything like that, but it's like they just lack an interest in the development of your relationship with them. It is not a priority for them. When a person shows you that your relationship with them is not priority, do you immediately back out? Or, because I'll back out, that's another bad habit I got, I'm working on some stuff, y'all. Or do you say, I recognize the scenario that's surrounding the experience I'm having or the connection, and now I have to deal with that person in an appropriate manner, and I also have to deal with that person in a manner that is beneficial to me and my well-being. Does that make sense to y'all? You know. There he says, Aquarius think too much. Yes, I do. I just want to be conscious, and just life seems to be, when I look around me, I see so much going on. And I was like, it got to be an answer to certain things, and so I'm always searching for them. That's the problem. Too much air going on. Yes, you need to balance of all the elements. Not easy to do at all. Not for me at all, because I am so, again, interested in solving or resolving a lot of the issues that take place. It's like some things don't seem like it's necessary, but then what? It comes up. I'm like, so I'll be trying to get rid of stuff as quickly as possible. Oh, yeah, that's a bit hard. I'm working on it. It's like a mom loving unconditionally. Yeah. You just accept them for who they are, but at the same time, you don't take BS. This is what I'm learning. Exactly. Thin line, hard to balance. Good evening, Vale. Vale, can I call you Vale? Because, I have, I'm a little challenged in the reading. So work with me. Welcome. Welcome to Can Angels Fly Tarot Live. And we're talking about forming emotional bonds and connections with others. This live stream was about being alone or loneliness or a loner, those kind of things. So right now we're just having conversation. I'm also accepting any burning question you may have, and I will answer it with a one card reading. Let's see. And Val says, good evening, Nancy. Will I ever get good communication with my ex Cancer? Oh, I'll answer you in just a moment. Doreen says, everything is not a science project. It's not. Look, you telling an Aquarius researcher it's not a scientific project. Let your heart guide you. Love your opposite sign, Leo. Embrace it. Ooh, that'll be a wild party up in here. Hold on, Leo. I got to get this card that flew out over here. Give me a moment. Oh, yeah, it flew out. I gotta let my flowers show. Got flowers from a gentleman yesterday, so I gotta immortalize them. It's still gentlemen out. So kind. Just a friendly, loving gesture. So I'm so appreciative. Let's answer Vale's question. Yeah. And she asked, it says, Will I ever get good communication with my ex Cancer? Let's see. Oh, okay, hold on. This one. What's your card? It has the Knight of Pentacles. Let's see. Knights are warriors, so they go out to fight for a cause. They campaign, they slay what is ever in their way, and they move in order to manifest. They're trying to have a breakthrough in order to bring into existence what they want. It is about satisfying the physical demands. You hear me? Physical demands one needs in their life to feel secure, grounded, and stable. What am I saying? When it comes to your ex, you ain't got to share this with me or us here on this live stream, but when it comes to your ex, it is possible that you can't or won't, I guess basically, be able to keep them away from you when it's something that they can gain from you, such as sex or some type of support, whether it's emotional support or financial support. They will break their neck to get to you. You ask, will you ever get good communication with your ex Cancer? Based on this Knight of Pentacles, I would have to say no, in short. And why is that? It's because this Knight of Pentacles reveals that it is a purpose attached to when you do communicate with them, and it's effortless and it's productive. It's a reason. But outside of that, they don't have the bravery or the intent, or they're not campaigning just to be able to communicate effectively and for a prolonged period of time. But when it comes to some physical, worldly need, want, passion, or desire, you got their ear. Hope that makes sense. And my hair is beautiful. Thank you, Halo. How you doing tonight? You up awful late. Well, if there are no more questions, I'll be moving to get off of this live stream. And Val says, I have been alone, but at the same time, it's been my choice. I needed alone time after my mom's death. Needed to find myself again. That's understandable. And I think it was a good move. My mom used to say, I am never alone because God is by my side. 100. Yeah. Okay, Dorian says, my question is, should I be done forever with my ex Cancer? LOL, Cancers are popular. Yeah, they seem to be. Oh, thank you for all the hearts. I just feel them so. What the hell? Something must be about to go down. Hold on. If something gonna go down, it better be that I'm hitting the lottery. All these cars keep falling. They're my girlfriends. These are my girlfriends. Should you leave the Cancer? Oh, Val. I'm calling you Val. If that's okay with you. I was thinking, I was sharing here on my live stream the other day that each element of the zodiac, the signs associated with each element, seem to defend their actions in a certain manner. And for water signs, Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio, their go-to is to disconnect. So I bring that up and suggest that you watch if your Cancer moves to disconnect in any way. Because if my theory is correct based on the research I've done, that if his intentions are not pure, he's not interested really in, again, sustaining communication, prolonged, consistent communication, you'll find that your Cancer will continue to disconnect emotionally. Till I said, what up, though? I asked about her the other day. Emotionally disconnect, like a light switch, on and off and on and off. That's a sign, a red flag relative to Cancers. Now, Dorian, should you be done forever with your ex-Cancer? What's your card? Oh, the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune. So let's talk about the Wheel of Fortune. It is a major arcana card. Therefore, it's divinity speaking into your life, making a suggestion for your betterment, giving you the heads up, some instructions, something like that. The world card, the Wheel of Fortune, the wheel of the clock, the time, the natal chart, the transiting energy it's about the time, current time. It is about the current status of one's career, their reputation, or social status, and building and maintaining. Your question is, should you be done forever with your ex-Cancer? The time is now to move on, building your life based on the status of the other. What am I saying? You in relationship to your ex-Cancer. How can I say this? What is their current social status? Have they, since you've broken up, this is an example, possible case scenario. Since you've broken up, have they joined or began to entertain another person, potential mate or a friend or whatever the case may be? Because it's about building your world based on what is actually happening now. Build your world. Do you want to build your world in association with your ex-Cancer? This is just hypothetically. If you know they may have another friend or be engaging with someone else, or their career. It could be that they are more interested in building their career and don't have time for you. So it's like making this decision to say, I as an individual, me Dorian, I need a person around me that is not preoccupied with their career because I need my time. I need to go out dancing or doing whatever. Or me, Dorian, I need to know that I'm in a one-on-one committed relationship, and build your world based on that. What am I saying? If that person cannot offer you what you want to help you build the life or bring the reality into existence that you want and are dreaming of, then no. You probably don't want to get back with your ex-Cancer. And right now, at this point in time in your life, you may want to release them. But if your ex-Cancer is in a place in their life that lines up with who you are and where you are going and can be beneficial to you, then you may want to keep the connection open between you and them, that kind of thing. But only if it's beneficial to you. Well, it ain't got to be beneficial to you. It's about you creating your reality. I'm having a hard time getting out, but it's about you creating your reality with them, in relationship to them. If you're kicking it with them, can you build a reality that you desire? Or is it necessary for you to cut them off in order to build the reality that you desire? Did I finally make sense? Let me know. Let's see. Where am I at? Okay. It's Cancer Month, and it is Cancer Month, isn't it? Oh, I gotta call my old boss because it's definitely her birthday. I don't know what he's doing, but this is good advice based on how things are going anyway. Thank you. You're welcome. So Vale says, as the world turns, now I wonder if I will ever reunite with my ex. As the world turns, like soap opera. So you want to know if you will reunite with your ex. Give me a minute. Where is that doggone sliding bar? I don't know. Every time I get on this thing, why it has to be an issue. Why is it? Oh, there it goes. Well, I might have. There it goes. I found it. Okay. I'm looking for something. Okay. Will you reunite with your ex? Let's see. This one. What is this? Oh, I think I need to shuffle because that came right back out. I might have set that down, so I got to reshuffle. Because I just pulled the one from the end. Let me shuffle again. And if it come back out, then it was meant for you. But I might have set that down. I just picked it back up. One more time. Will they'll reunite with her ex? Lisa? What is it? Dang, these same things coming out. So what I'm going to look at is both, because both of them have been out and both of them came back out. And I'm talking to you, Vale. I'm trying to get it together, y'all. Is remember I just pulled the Wheel of Fortune. Remember the time is now, and about what you want to build or manifest in your life. Does reuniting with your ex line you up with creating the reality that you desire? And I'm not just talking about coming into a connection with somebody that you dig and that you like or what you find sexy. I'm talking about your overall life. And it has so many various components, from having living situations, housing, financing, share, resources, and how you want to live and love, eat all those things. And then the return of this Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles, remember, is a warrior who moves forward and campaigns and slays anything in his way as he moves forward to build, manifest, or sustain what he feels or she feels like is needed in order to satisfy the physical world. Now, what is that saying between them two cards? It's saying, hey, what do you want to build in your life and how easy do you want it to be? Now, in short, you're going to battle. And the battle is to bring into existence the reality that you desire, that satisfies your needs, your wants, your five physical senses. Because you're asking about reuniting with your ex. And I'm going to say, You got the Wheel of Fortune and the Knight of Pentacles. Moving forward and building and sustaining. If you, I don't know what's in your heart, your being, your essence, is what I'm trying to say. There are particular things that you want to fulfill, you want to bring in existence, and you will bring in this existence in this life. If your ex is directly related to that, whatever you building, the reality of your life, then yes, you will reunite with them. But actually, the feeling I'm getting is that you won't reunite with them. And why do I say that? It's because your goals are bigger than your connection with that ex. You know, the Wheel of Fortune, your goals are bigger than them. And it does not seem that this is the energy I'm picking up, that they fit in getting you to the point of creating the reality you desire. However, you can create in your life what you want. And yes, you can reunite with your ex if they're going to help you create the reality that you want. And what am I saying? I don't think that the reality you will create while in union with your ex is the same reality you will create if you continue to move on and do you and create the world that you really want. I hope that makes sense to you. As some of these things have been difficult to get out, even in the private readings. I mean, the cards been wanting to go deep, and it's hard to go deep with one card. No, it ain't. No, it ain't. They've been that deep, so I can't even say that. They've been taking me down and up and through some stuff. Anyway, so hopefully that was a satisfactory answer, and I made it make sense. Sometimes I get a little tongue-tied. But of course, the floor is still open. If there are any additional questions, feel free to ask them. If there are no additional questions posed in the next 60 seconds, I will move to attempt to disconnect from this live stream. But thank you all very much for coming to Can Angels Fly Tarot Live and discussing what it is to be a long ranger. I invite you to order your own personal tarot reading if you are interested. And all you got to do is contact me at my email. My email is canangelsfly1@gmail.com. Is there anything else that I should cover in this live stream? I don't think so. So I guess that minute has passed. So I'll check you out, ladies and gentlemen, out next time. Bye. And plus, I done got good at getting off here, y'all. Thanks and good night. Good night.